Dr. Will Redman. Will is an adjunct professor at a local university as well as the drummer with Microkingdom. They have a new album out. It is called Smooth Tendencies. As well as playing drums with Microkingdom, he is a composer and a percussionist on his own and with several different ensembles. Will, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about life as an adjunct.
It is challenging and lacks security, but it's fun. I get to teach what I like to do, fairly flexible. But the other side of that is you don't know if you're going to have a job next semester, that sort of thing.
You're teaching kids the same age that you were when you started going to college, right?
Yeah.
These are early, like 100 level, 200 level
yeah,
classes?
I teach all 100 levels, so mostly freshmen and sophomores. A couple juniors, seniors get in there, a couple music majors sneak in.
Was it in college that you decided you wanted to become a musician full-time?
Yeah, I think my decision to go to college was a really late one, like a month before the deadline type of thing, and they let me into the department as a percussion student. Within a year or two, I switched over to composition, and that was that. So it turned, I mean, before that, I had no expectation that's where what I was going to do. Never thought about it before.
What were you going to do? You didn't have a plan?
I was going to learn welding, basically, and just become a welder.
Then you became now you have a doctor,
yeah,
PhD.
and I can weld, so, you know, and I taught myself, but.
You can weld and you can work on British cars.
Yeah, that's why I learned to weld. Yes, a lot of very rusty cars.
So let's talk a little bit about that early knock on the door when you decided you wanted to be a composer.
Yeah, I remember the moment. I've told this story to people a number of times before. I think it was a Friday. I'm going to pretend I know more details than I know. But no, I think it was a Friday. I had a music theory class with Dr. Stuart Saunders Smith at UMBC. Very sort of radical new music composer and divisive character in the department. And he said, you know what you need to do? You need to go home and get John Coltrane's Ascension and Luciano Berio's Circles and listen to those. So Coltrane's Ascension, the 60-minute free jazz piece, not really free jazz, but for sake of argument, let's say free jazz. And Luciano Berio's Circles, which is a piece for percussion and small chamber ensemble. And those two things, free improvisation, avant-garde classical music, like that weekend was like, oh, these two things exist. I think I'll do these things. Here I am.
Wow.
Unbelievably.
I'm just going to step off camera real fast and grab your composition book, aptly titled book.
Yeah, it's the big one.
And yeah, there's lines going everywhere. Talk a little bit about how a musician is supposed to look at this.
Any way they want, really. And it sounds like a cop-out, and people have accused me of sort of copping out or being kind of oppressive is one thing. Well, you give people things like this, you know, that don't have an explanation, and you know, then they're worried what the composer is going to think and whether they're going to do it right. And I said, well, you know, the whole point behind this is there are no instructions or page numbers. It's bound with binder clips. My name is buried on there. It's so hard to find. I wanted to leave it off, and because I wanted to get rid of that idea that the composer, you know, once I made this, I kind of don't care. You go and make your music with it, and I'll be happy to hear your music. You know, doesn't mean I'm going to like every performance of it, but I accept that. And so that's a little bit difficult for performers because they want to know, what should I do here, what should I do there? And I say, I can give you suggestions, but you could probably think of something way more interesting than I can think of.
So talk about relationships as far as working with a record label that's putting your records out.
We put our first record out ourselves on vinyl, and it cost a lot of money, and it was a lot of work, and I think we did okay with it. But I would much rather have a label do it, you know. Like I said about Jimmy, he comes up with these ideas, like especially for the packaging, you know, I'm going to do this and this and this, and it's like, yeah, he is, and when it happens, it's going to look beautiful, and it's going to come together, and so that's a really great feeling when, you know, hey, I got them in my hand, come and pick these records up. And you go and look at them. It's like, man, thank you. Like, thanks for caring enough. You know, somebody put this time into taking this music we made and, you know, putting these packaged together. That's pretty amazing, and getting it out there. So that's really nice.
Thank you, Will, for joining us today. You can find out more about Microkingdom's new album, Smooth Tendencies, at microkingdom.com. There's links over to Friends Records where you can buy the purple crushed velvet pink vinyl record. You can also find Will at willredman.com. And until next time, keep it between the white line and the ditches.